What's up, tubers? Welcome back to the channel. Uh, we're going to do a quick voiceover tips and tricks. I'm still working on the Datsun delivery project, and next up I got into the trucks. I've got two 620s to do, and my thought process logic was I'm just gonna do them both at the same time, and the only difference is gonna be the body color, really. So there's a couple of pointers I wanted to go through while we do this. The uh, the first thing I always like to do is get them all off the trees and sorted, and get the chrome bits separated from the other little tiny bits, and then take the chrome bits and put them in the easy off bath. That works amazing. I mean, almost instantaneous. You can see it just zaps the stuff right off of there. I found that the MPC chrome is it's not as good as other makers, and it just comes off immediately. And then I'll take that, I'll wash it while it's in the sink, and then I'll come back and I'll hit it with some IPA and get the extra, whatever, how much of the varnish I can get off of it. The more the better, the less chance for a unsolid substrate. Um, and then the next thing I'll do is I'll start prepping the body and working on the other parts. And man, oh, it's just so charming. Look at the gap there between the valance, the pan, and the fender. Ugh. So I got everything off the trees and nipped and sanded and filed and ready to start gluing stuff together. And the way I fixed that gap was basically I heated the plastic up just a little bit and took my fingers and kind of bent the front lower fender in enough so that pan would connect to it, and glued those together. Did the same thing on both because they were identical. And then I started working on the bed, which I know it's kind of tricky. I've built this kit before, and it's not the friendliest one to go together. So basically, I'll take all the parts, get them all, sanded and filed and prepped. Got the fenders, the tailgate, and then the tail light holders, housing. I don't know what you call it. So you got your tail light, words, fender, and the bed. And what I'll do is I'll lay down some of the cement, the glue. I like working with this plastic weld. It works really good. It melts the stuff right away. So I'll lay down a little bit on the bed, and then on the inside of the fender, just enough to give it some tack. And then I'll line up those notches where they go. You can kind of see them on the fender there a little bit better. There's a couple of notches where it'll sit so that it's square-ish. And then what I'll do is, while it's in there in those notches, I'll then go back and flood it with that plastrop, and then hold it with my fingers to get it to hold it square-ish, as much as you can. And the idea being not to get it on the tailgate, so that the tailgate will actually open and close. You leave that little bit of a gap there. And then I'll move on to the taillight housings, and again, keeping the glue off of the tailgate and just on the parts where the parts will go. The parts where the parts will go. Words. And I went ahead and put some tape on it so that I could have my hands free to then attach the taillight housings, and making sure that the tailgate did in fact open. And then, that about does it for that part. I got the tailgate to open and close. I got the fenders on, everything's square. Then I went to work on the engine bay, which is also similar. See, there's a little bit of a spot where there's a piece. When you first open it, you can see it says to remove it, and you cut it out. But there's a piece of plastic still left, so that has to be trimmed out in order for that engine bay to fit correctly. So once you trim that out, then put it in there, and then same thing. I'll get it in there, get it square, and just flood it with the plastruct, and then making sure that it actually lines up, that the frame and the cab, I'll put the interior portion on the frame. I'll tape it down so that it holds it in place, and then hold it up into the bottom to make sure everything lines up correctly, so that it's not going to be wonky later when you go to put it together. And mine, I had to do a little bit of sanding on the frame to get the interior tub to sit flush on it. There's definitely some trimming that needs to be done on this kit. And then, so once I was happy with that, I went on to the suspension. That it also took a little bit of, it took some coercion to get it to line up straight and to stay flat. And I've found that the best way to handle these kind of kits is to glue on everything, to glue on as much as possible before you paint it, and then go back and detail it with the tiny brushes later. Like the engine, I mean, there was it's not the prettiest thing. You get them glued together and then go back and trim and file and get it so that it'll look a little bit better. I mean, yeah, I know it's not going to be seen once it's in the vehicle, but still, I'm a perfectionist. I like to make stuff that works well, looks good. I know it looks good. So I got everything, all the frames and the engine and the tailgate, and then I went to work on the cab, or the engine bay, and put all those little extra parts in. Again, gluing together as much as possible prior to painting, so that when I go to paint it, all I have to do is break out the little brushes. So I got everything all separated and, finished sanded and ready for put it on the sticks, and then got some primer ready. Got my colors chosen. I'm going to shoot it all in flat black, and in the interior tub I went with a flat red, flat red primer, and then I'll leave it at that. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at now. Is I've got everything. It's been setting overnight, drying, and then I'll go to work on that and put some finish color on it. And what I'll do is probably do just a time lapse of me doing that part of it. But I wanted to get this put together and posted so that maybe it'll help some. I know that a couple of you had some issues with some of the parts lining up correctly, the engine bay and the fenders. So hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, which should be the finish of these trucks. That's it for now.